Okay, so I'm just going to be preparing my dinner for this evening for my family. We're just going to do a sort of bacon salad type thing. Yeah, so I'm going to be preparing a few bits and pieces, kind of getting everything ready. I'm not sure whether to do mushrooms with this one or not. I have to think. Yeah, anyway, I'll get the bacon ready and we'll get cracking. Smoked bacon. Should be good. But I quite like these kind of things where you sort of, you know, you have a few ingredients in the house and you kind of muss them up together and see what kind of works with them. It's quite fun. So, we're going to do some, dinner with my family this evening, which I haven't done for a couple of weeks. But obviously, we do dinner, but not like this. So it's going to be a little bit different today. We're just going to do some basic salady type stuff. Still trying to work out what to make. So, bacon. I'm going to cook some asparagus. So just going to trim the asparagus up, just snapping off the ends. I just like to grill asparagus. Bit of olive oil, salt, nothing more than that. It's very simple, very nice. So we just snap off. These are a bit old, which is why I'm trying to use up stuff that's in the fridge. They're a little bit bendy. Still nice though. So we're going to use up some stuff in the fridge this evening. Bacon, asparagus, mushrooms. Kind of put it all together, try and make something of it. Olive oil. Some salt. And I'm going to prepare these mushrooms because again they're getting a bit old. So I think I'll just serve them up sliced, cool them down a bit, put them in a salad, add them to the bacon actually, be quite nice. And then see how it goes. I'm not usually one for making up recipes. I prefer to do stuff that's actually sort of, to a recipe book. But sometimes it's fun to just do this kind of stuff. At the moment we're on a bit of a health kick, so we're trying to eat quite healthily. Nice high fibre type stuff for breakfast and lunches. And then trying to get all of our sort of fresh stuff into the evenings. We eat a lot of salads in the summer. So I quite like sort of chopping up peppers, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumber, that kind of stuff, and just stirring it together, making up a dish with a bit of fish or sausage, nice pork chop, chicken breast, something like that. But summer's a sort of much easier time to whip things up quite quickly, whereas I find that during winter I'm much more a fan of your sort of long, slow casserole type things that are that take a lot of preparation, and you don't sort of do things on the spur of the moment. But this week, because we've decided to be a bit more healthy with our food, I've got to get rid of the stuff that we've had knocking around so that I can focus on the more healthy stuff. So lots of brown breads, wholemeal breads. I make a lot of jam, so in my cupboard here I have my own homemade jams, and I like to have those for breakfast and stuff. So the typical breakfast for this family would be a bit of toast with jam, normally with butter, but we're trying to cut down on the butter slightly, but always with a homemade jam. The jams I make are gooseberry, plum, sort of raspberry, strawberry blend, berry jams, that kind of stuff. And I do a really nice rhubarb jam. So I've just made my rhubarb jam for this year, which is up in the cupboard. So they're all kind of tucked away up there. And later on, I shall be making, I'm probably going to skip gooseberry jam this year. I've got so much gooseberry jam left over from last year that I'll probably just take the fruits and use them for pies and cakes and stuff like that, directly for those things, rather than preserving them this year. Last year we didn't have so many plums, so I'm expecting more plums on our trees this year, and therefore I should have a glut to be able to get a good load of plum jam done. The raspberries are coming through really well, so we've got a raspberry, lots of raspberry bushes and canes outside. So the raspberries are coming along really well. We've got the raspberry canes outside, they're growing really well. So I'm hoping we'll get a really good crop of raspberries this year, which will be fun. And the strawberries though aren't doing quite so well. So I'm hoping the strawberries will come good, but last year the crop was quite poor, and they don't really feel like they've kind of come on as well as I'd hoped. So in our garden we grow gooseberries. I've got 3 gooseberry bushes, 1 blackcurrant. I have about 18 raspberry canes, about 24 strawberry plants, which is enough to do desserts, fresh pickings type stuff, but not a big collection. We also have 2 big rhubarbs, which are really big. They crown really nicely. So I'm hoping to get, this year I've probably taken off, I'd say about 20-25 stems from the rhubarb, which is great, which is exactly what I'd hoped for. And I'm going to just kind of leave it now to grow and, generate its energy for next year. I've kind of taken enough from one rhubarb. The other one's a little bit later, so I'll be harvesting that later on in the summer. I think I might cook the mushrooms in with the bacon just to keep things nice and simple. So as you can probably tell, I live in the countryside. We have nice kind of fields around us, and it's a nice rural environment which I grew up in, so it's quite useful for me to live in this kind of environment. I like my, growing things. We have lots of projects that we're working on with different things we grow in the garden. My herb garden is my current thing, so I'm trying to use more fresh herbs in the garden. We're currently growing parsley, chamomile, lots of mint. We're growing chervil, marjoram, oregano, mustard, I'm going some mustard, chives, garlic chives, rosemary, obviously, thyme, obviously, but I also grow some mace and some other stuff as well. What I haven't planted this year, which I should have done, but I'll do it next year, is angelica. I like angelica. If you cut the stems and you dry them with sugar, you can candy angelica, and it's really nice with rhubarb. It gives a really nice edge to a rhubarb. It lasts for ages. So candied angelica is a really nice thing to have as well. But I haven't done that this year, so I have to remember to do it next year. I cleared a plot where last year one of the rhubarbs died, so it didn't come back this year. And I should have put angelica in the spot, because angelica gets massive, really big thing, and it grows sort of, you know, as tall as me. And it's one of those things where you harvest the canes in its second year. So first you let it grow, and then the second year you harvest the canes, and then it's done. It will never come again. It's done after that. So you have to harvest it. You make use of the canes, and they're fantastic candied, as I said. But I haven't done that this year. I need to do that next year. Okay. So I might even just drop the mushrooms in with the bacon. That'll be fine. And get on with a bit of salad. So all of our leftovers, peelings, that kind of stuff, we compost all that. So I've got 2 composting bins outside, 2 of them for general gardening waste, and 1 is for kitchen waste a bit closer to the house. So we just compost everything down, and then I transfer it from the household one down to the one at the other end of the garden, so it's a bit further away from the house, and then start again up here. And that's a nice way of kind of, you know, keeping things rotating over, and it means that we don't get lazy, because if you have to walk all the way to the little garden to put these things out, you can be a little bit lazy about whether you go all the way down there with your peelings and clippings and all your bits and pieces. But this is a nice way of doing it, and it keeps everything sort of in a manageable amount. So I will just dump this outside, because it's getting a bit big, as you can see, and I have to do my peppers in a second. Okay, so let's prepare some plates. So earlier on I was mentioning the herbs, and one of the things we're really into at the moment is mint tea. So we've been using chocolate mint, which is a fantastic type of mint if you know it. It's got that kind of brownish underside of the leaf, very strong, vibrant green leaf. And we've been using chocolate mint to be able to just add a bunch into 1 tea bag in our teapot, and then produce really fantastic, gorgeous mint tea just with a 5 minutes steeping. And I'm loving that at the moment. It feels really healthy. It's a lovely way to wake up, because the mint's slightly refreshing, but it's not sort of like toothpaste minty. It's just sort of nice, refreshing alternative. And I'm really enjoying it as an alternative to coffee in the mornings, because coffee, we only do ground coffee. So we don't have coffee granules. We don't do the kind of freeze-dried coffee or instant coffee. So if I'm going to make coffee, it's going to be in a sort of percolator type thing, which we do on the stove here. So it's quite it's not necessarily a fuss to make coffee, but if we're going to make coffee, then I'll normally make like 8 cups, and then I'll just keep it trickling over for the day, like on a weekend. Whereas a quick cup of tea is really easy to make, especially when it's that nice mint tea. And with it coming up to summer, it's a lovely time to have it. So I do my mint tea in this little beauty, which was a present from my brother. I think it was a Christmas present from my brother a couple of years ago. So, you know, use it whenever we can, it's quite nice. Okay, so let's pop the grill on for the asparagus. We are basically just debating whether or not to do the chili. Yeah, my daughter won't like it. I will add in some cucumber. We've got a nice onion and garlic dip. I'll serve that up with it, it'll be quite nice. So while this is all cooking, I'd like to just talk about family stuff again and you know what we do. Like I said on previous videos, we don't do this all the time as a family. My daughter is, you know, she really sort of embraces the idea of Juliette and is very happy with it. My wife, again, is open and tolerant and is quite relaxed about these kind of things, which is very nice. It's nice to be able to do these kind of things. But it's not really so much of an event anymore. It's just one of those things where today I happen to be dressed, I happen to be doing videos, and therefore it's something where timing has worked out that at this time of the day I'm going to be preparing dinner and my family are off doing studying, my daughter's doing homework, and therefore I'm going to fit this kind of time in to do this video and do the dinner at the same time, and then we'll eat together. And then they're going to go off because my daughter's got swimming. So she's been doing her swimming this evening, and it means that I'm going to have a bit more time then to, you know, do some other videos and do other bits and pieces. But it's nice to be able to sort of blend all this up into one family-ish time and have everything kind of synced up together, which is the nice thing about this. Obviously, a lot of people say I'm very lucky. I'm certainly very lucky to have to be able to do these kind of things. But as I've said on previous videos, I didn't get here by chance. You know, this isn't an accident that I happened to be in this situation. I used to be in a situation where I absolutely could not do this, and it was not possible. It wasn't something that would have been entertained in the house. My daughter wouldn't know about it. She didn't know about Juliette. My wife didn't want this kind of stuff going on. So there have been plenty of times in the past where this was completely beyond the realms of possibility and something that would have seemed to be a complete pipe dream. So for anyone out there who looks at this and thinks, look, this is so easy, it's obviously, you know, very easy for you. You go back 5 years and I wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be possible. It takes a lot of partnership, it takes a lot of trust, it obviously takes a lot of tolerance and acceptance and open-mindedness from my wife. Now, some people would say, well, it shouldn't. You know, some people will say there's nothing wrong with this, but this isn't what my wife was expecting when she married me. It isn't what she thought she was going to get. And, you know, if she had to potentially live with this all the time, that would very much be different to what her expectations were coming into marriage. You know, whether we like it or not, looks and how you look and how you appear, these are important to people, and you just can't ignore that fact. You have to acknowledge that and work with that. And try to, you know, develop and earn trust. So, you know, I try not to push things too far, because I could push things too far, I could do too much. And I'm always trying to move forward with everything. I'm always trying to do a little bit more. I'm always trying to do, and that's in everything. I'm not talking about being Juliette. I'm talking about in life. I'm trying to read more books. I try to increase my skills. I try to be better at things that I enjoy doing. So I always try to find room for improvement in everything as much as I possibly can, without being tiresome about it. Let's put it that way, or trying not to be tiresome about it. But this kind of thing of a family time of being together, this is one of those steps forward we've taken that is invaluable to me. When it happens, it's fantastic. It's one of those great times. It's really enjoyable. It's fun to spend time with family like this. But it's not now something that is, it doesn't feel incredibly, or even slightly. But it's one of those things. It just doesn't feel like a momentous occasion. It feels more like a part of everyday life. And once you get through the first couple of times, things tend to become a little bit more commonplace, and that's certainly where we are at the moment. It is a more commonplace thing that we're doing that is, it's just a reflection of who we are and how we are getting on at the moment. But it's still precious, and it's fragile. It's not something you can take for granted, ever. So yeah, it is fragile, and it's one of those things where I try to remind myself that it's something that is, it needs to be protected, it needs to be nurtured, and you can't think of setbacks as being the be-all and end-all of everything, because they're not. We have setbacks, I have setbacks. There are times when you feel like you've taken 2 steps back, you took a step forward, you took 2 steps back, and you have to be able to gather yourself, you have to be able to a certain extent rationalise that and think about how you're going to make another small step forward. And it is about making small steps. I think that I like this analogy, the analogy of a mountain, and on one side it's a sheer cliff face, and the other side of the mountain is a lovely gentle winding path. For a lot of people, you can feel like you're standing at the bottom of a sheer cliff face, and you're looking up at a goal and it's absolutely unattainable. It looks like something you could never ever achieve. But if you just take the time to find the small incremental developments, the small things you can get that are achievements in themselves, and you can see the value of them, if you can see the value in these small achievements, even though you'll sometimes go backwards to then go forwards, and your path will wind downhill a little bit, and you'll eventually find your way winding back up again. It's about identifying those small wins, that next step, not the giant leap, the next step. And that's where we are now. And I'm at a point where the summit is still a lot further off. And to be frank, I'm just enjoying the view. I'm kind of happy enjoying the path, the trail. I'm happy enjoying the view of the top of the mountain. I don't necessarily feel like I have to get there. There will come a time, I suspect, where if you have these incremental steps, if you have these small bits of achievement, you may find, like me, that there comes a time where you look back on where you were, you look at where you are, you look at where you could go, and you think, you know what? This is good. This is nice. I like this. I'm okay staying here. And if you walk that path with your family, with your partner, with your children, it's so much the better. So much the better. But it is possible. If there's any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. Reach me through my email address, julietteisnoir@gmail.com, or through my website, julietteisnoir.uk. Look forward to talking to you on the next video. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell, and you'll get notified. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye. Bye.